You like that bright light? That's just coming from the window. That's like the sun right there. The sun. You know, S-U-N, the sun. All right, let's do something. Let's do something fun. At least it's fun to me. Okay, what kind of shopper are you today? Not yesterday, not last year, not 5 years ago, sure as hell not 10 years ago. What kind of shopper are you today? Right here, right now. What kind of shopper are you? Okay, what's your vibe when you walk into a place of buying stuff? Whether it be a store or department store or warehouse or Sam's Club or even a realtor's office. What's your vibe when you walk in there? A, I know exactly what I need and want to be efficient. B, I'm on a mission, but I might check out a few extras. C, I go where the vibe takes me. D, I'm usually hoping something calls to me. E, I explore with purpose, even if I don't know the outcome yet. F, I'm here to enjoy the freedom of choice. Did you choose one? Number 2, when money's tight, how do you react? A, I stick to the list, no exceptions, period. In and out, bam. B, still optimize just within new constraints. C, I buy something small to lift my mood. D, I wander and hope something cheap feels meaningful. E, I get creative, find value others overlook. F, I shift priorities, but keep my center. You choose one? All right. You don't have to choose one if you don't want to. It's just a little game here. Okay, number 3, you discover a new product that catches your eye. What now? A, only if it's on the list. B, if it makes sense logically and functionally. C, if it excites me or feels fresh. D, if it speaks to something I can't explain. E, if it aligns with my values and feels like a wise upgrade. F, if it resonates with who I'm becoming. Sounds like something Jim Rohn would say. All right. Number 4, what would make your shopping experience feel meaningful? A, speed, clarity, and sticking to the plan. B, learning smarter ways to shop. C, discovering something unexpected and delightful. D, feeling seen even if I don't spend much. E, finding hidden value and feeling wise. F, flowing through beauty and meaning, uninterrupted. And there you have it. There's some sharpening. There's the shopper archetypes quiz. Customer facing. Pretty cool, huh? Let's see. You know, if we had to oversimplify it, get down to 2 kinds of shoppers. Or even make it 3 kinds of shoppers. One shopper is kind of like a wanderer. They have no list. And then the other shopper has a list and they know exactly what they're going for. And they got a basic idea how long it's going to take them. The other one, they have no idea. They just know they need to get some stuff, some groceries, a couple of basic needs for the house. It doesn't matter if they're in there 30 minutes or 2.5 hours just to get one bag of things. They're not looking at none of that time or list or nothing. They're just kind of in there moseying around. So there's the list follower, but there's also basically 2 kinds of list followers. One list follower lives in abundance. They can buy pretty much anything they want up in there. And then there's the other list follower they're on what they call the alleged fixed income, or they need to count their pennies. They can't. They only have a certain amount of money, and it's like if they're not careful, they won't be able to get everything on the list because they only got that certain amount of money. See, there's those two kinds of list followers, and then there's those other two kinds of wanderers. The one wanderer is is basically broke, in debt, probably smoking cigarettes, making themselves even more broke, physically, psychologically, emotionally. And then there could be another wanderer type that has plenty of money, but yet also can be broke also. So that goes into a couple of different kinds. See how it starts branching off real quick into the different kinds? But if we could break them down into just a couple of basic things, which would probably maybe or maybe not be a good idea. There's the people that go by the list, whether they have plenty of income to get what's on the list and extra, or the kind of people that make lists but don't have any money, so to speak, to go over, or they just barely have enough, aka poor or living towards the bottom of the barrel. And then the wanderer that is actually in abundance, has plenty of money, but yet they're wandering. They don't have a list, they don't have a timeline, they don't have any constraints. And then the other wanderer, same criteria, except they don't have any money and they only got a couple dollars. Maybe let's say just a 20 or 30 bucks. So that's basically the two kinds, but two kinds of each of those two kinds. It's basically the four kinds. And they look at each other different, and they misunderstand each other different too, in the way they look at one another. One can look at the other one and judge the other one of how they're doing and what they're doing and be completely wrong. It would be easy for, let's say, the broke person or the list. Okay, let's look at the list people. A broke list person that uses the list, but they're pretty broke or on just a few dollars they're working with, can misunderstand the wanderer who has plenty of money. They'd be like, yeah, you're just wandering. You got all the time in the world. You got money to fall on. You got this, you got that. I can't do that. I gotta. But that's only looking at it from the superficial. That's just looking at the surface. What if that person is broke also of the mind, emotions, heart broke over this, heart broke over that, running on a broken heart? See, a person like that, they're just, it's like that money doesn't mean much in that state of mind. They're just the same as the broke wanderer or the broke list person, of those two kind of shoppers. And it can flip around just the same way too. It's so weird too, because you can flip them roles and say the same words but coming from a different angle. Say this person is very wealthy, very rich. They can look at that wanderer that's broke and be like, yeah, you can wander around like that and you can waste your time. You ain't got no responsibilities. You ain't got nothing to worry about, blah, blah, blah. See, that's the way it's been looked at. Perception. The survivalist, the optimizer, the drifter. Yeah, let's call it the three. The survivalist that follows the list. And then the survivalist that doesn't follow the list. And then, of course, you have the one with the scarcity mindset and then the one with the abundance mindset. So that basically makes the four kinds out of that one kind of survivalist. And then we go to the next one, the optimizer, the list follower with the abundant mindset and then the scarcity mindset. See, that can be looked at as the 4 kinds right there. So that's 8 kinds. We go into the drifter in drought, or the drifter, the wanderer with money or without money. There's those 2 kinds. And then if you look at it in the other perception, there's 4 kinds. So basically the 12 kind of shoppers, all stemmed off of the 2. The one that follows the list and the one that doesn't. See, one is kind of running on an intuition, which that's really important. That is very important. I think that's a lost art. The wanderer, the drifter, they're running on an intuition. It's like deep down they know that it's going to come together somehow. Something's going to pop out. Something's going to jump out at them. They're going to find something. It's going to work. It's like they're spontaneous, but yet it doesn't look like they're being spontaneous. And then, of course, the list follower. That's an important thing, too. You know, and I have absolutely no idea where I'm going with this video. I just printed these docs off. This was some ideas that popped out. This ain't even the stuff I'm researching right now, but it's like an idea popped into my head the other day. And I was thinking about relationships, and I was looking at the, self-reconciliation and forgiveness papers I'm working on, that I've been working on the past few years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever years. And I got to thinking about this shopper, these kinds of shoppers. Because I've been working the retail floor, and it's like you see two basic kind of shoppers. The shoppers running by the list. Well, there's basically 3 kinds. There's the kind that's running by the list, the kind that's a wanderer, and then there's the kind that's not running by a list, but they're not a wanderer. They know what they're after, and they're going to get it. From what I see at surface level, that's just at surface level. So just stick with me on this. And I got to thinking. It's like, how does this apply to relationships? I have no idea. I haven't even looked at that yet. I'm hoping this don't sidetrack me. Hope it don't sidetrack you either. But even if it does, I hope it's the scenic route. I hope it takes you off the main road that you're on, the same old routine road that you see every day. I hope it takes you off on a detour. I hope it does sidetrack you. I hope it throws you off your trail. I hope it gets you to seeing some off-roads, some side roads, some trails, and gets you off the main beaten path. And then you get back up on the main road that you're normally used to, and you think, wow, I had no idea those trails were right there, right next to me this whole time. I drive by that every day, and I had no idea there was that kind of beauty there. All the way from point A to point B. That's been there the whole time. Never even drove down in there to check it out. Not even once. Damn. I'll spend a little more time there. Hell, might even move down there. Northwestern Arkansas. This, Rogers, Arkansas, Bentonville, Arkansas. This is where it all started. Samuel Moore Walton and his family. They're the one, we owe these people so much, and I'm serious. And listen to me real close. I'm not even playing right now. The reason the United States has been so awesome, and we have neglected the fact that it is awesome, is because that commander's intent that Sam set, to lower costs and improve people's lives, basically like that. That. And his ability to do that and to build other teams and systems and to stick to systems and have those values and to teach others how to do it and run on that same system. That's how they grew to be one of the biggest employers in the world and the biggest retailers in the world. And I think that has helped to anchor the entire playing field of capitalism, because it keeps our egos and money driving, success power driving crap that a lot of us men fall into, from getting carried away and not caring about the people on the bottom that actually are the most important, because they're the ones that hold the pyramid up. In a pyramid, it goes with all these little blocks and less all the way to the top. That top one needs to have so much respect for these bottom ones. And that's what Sam Walton had and has and left behind. That's his legacy. So it's like, because of Sam Walton, the United States And yeah, we got places that are really expensive, and yeah, they're kind of lopsided. And yeah, there's some where it looks like the margin between the rich and the poor is way too far, whatever. But overall, for the most part, the United States is pretty much the most badass country on God's green earth. And that's probably why people from the entire world is like their world. They didn't have any Sam Waltons to set that kind of culture through the past few generations. They didn't have that. So it's like they're out of check. It's like they didn't have nothing to anchor it down to keep those people from going, for the capitalism to become almost like a tyranny or something and crushing the poor or making the poor and creating the poor and holding them down. They probably didn't have that. But anyways, that's where we are. Thanks to... we say big thank you to Sam Walton, even though he's passed away back in the early 90s or whatever. Huge thank you to him for setting the kind of commander's intent that we still go by today. That is just, it's just so important. It's like, I don't even think the man realized how ingenious that kind of intention he set for people to follow. It's like no matter what you're doing, it's like, can it revert back to the commander's intent and does it align with that? And if it's no, then leave it out. And if it's yes, go ahead and run with it. It's just that simple. Just that simple. So anyways, Sam Walton, he had a couple of things. Been trying to figure out what exactly was it that he had. No, I'm not talking about money. I'm not talking about his systems. Yeah, he had ingenious systems he set in place that were replicated. And even into the 90s, Walmart started blooming so quickly. You're averaging about 100 stores open a year, consistently blooming. And even to now, freaking mind-blowing. But anyways, it's like, what did Sam Walton have that made him so successful? What made him wildly successful with people? What was it and how was it? How was he being and what was he doing that made everybody he came in contact with feel so important and made everybody feel like a freaking hero? See, I keep hearing that over and over. If you look through the books and you look through the archives and stuff like that, you keep hearing that word over and over. Hero. Hero. And he looked at people with a genuine, what is it? How was the word put? I can't remember. Our CEO put it so well. He had something that was genuine. He had a genuine interest in people. That's what he said. He had a genuine interest in people and the ability to make them feel like a hero. But it's like, were those the only two elements he used to be? I mean, honestly, it's like, would a person even want to be wildly successful with people? No, I'm not talking about wildly successful with money or anything like that, but would you actually want to be wildly successful with the opposite sex? Would you want to be wildly successful with just people in general? I mean, would you even want that? Do you even need that? Is that even possible? Is that something to even ponder or even to shoot for? Or even what the hell does it even mean? I don't know. I don't know what it means to be wildly successful with people. I know what I think. I think I've seen clues. People like Sam Walton, stuff like that, Dale Carnegie, and that's just to name a few. And a few others that are still living now, which we won't mention because they're living legacies. Anyways, I got to go to work. Have a good one. See you in the funny papers.